I mean, it's going to be a difficult game. They're top of the league and doing really well. They've continued, on from last season where they had an excellent season. So it'll be a difficult game. When they've been, I think they've been proved this season. How good they can be. They work extremely hard. They're well organised, and they've someone in Billy Mackay who's, probably, it's quite easily to say that he's probably the top striker in the league at the moment, and I think it was vitally important for them to hold on to him over the summer, and he started the season just where he left off last season, if not even better.
A player that Tommy Wright just identified, Billy Mackay, how are we going to try and stop him?
It's going to be difficult. He's started the season on fire. He did another great season last year as well, so it's not going to be easy, but it's not a one-man team, I wouldn't imagine. Inverness, they've got good players all over the pitch. They do their jobs well, and they're not a team that you look at individually and say, oh, they're all amazing players, but as a team they do a fantastic job together. They work so hard, and it's not just going to be about stopping Billy Mackay. There's 10 other players we have to take care of as well.
Obviously the international week after this weekend, how important would it be to get the 3 points before that?
Yeah, it's more for just the fact we've been on a poor little run ourselves. We've only picked up a couple of points at the last 4 or 5 games, so we need to get back to winning ways and need to do it soon.
Well, Stephen Anderson, as reported in the press, he'd been plastered for 5 weeks, and then the surgeon wants to see him after another 3. So it'll be a minimum of 8 weeks, which is really disappointing for the player, and what was a innocuous, accident. But it turned out to be a really bad injury. The ligament had moved as well, so they had to operate on him. So basically, we're looking at minimum of 8 weeks for Ando, and that leaves us probably short in terms of numbers and defenders, but it doesn't even leave us short in terms of quality, because we have someone like Gary Miller who can come in, or Dave Mackay can slip in there to centre back. So we have options, but it is a little bit concerning in terms of the numbers of defenders that leaves us with.
Obviously Stephen Anderson going off injured last week. How big a miss is he going to be?
Might be a miss in the pitch, but he'll not be a miss off it. He's got a couple of weeks off, so thankfully myself and Rob don't have to travel with him, but it'll be a miss on the park. He's a good player, he's a solid player. You know what you're getting from Ando every week, and we will miss him, but it's a chance for somebody else to come in. Gary Miller come in and done well on Saturday. It's a chance for him to keep his place.
Last week when I spoke to you, we were looking to try and bring a striker in. How's that progressed?
Well, George Boorman, is that what? Yeah. I thought maybe you thought me get me another striker from somewhere that would be. No, George it's not looking good at the minute. The fact that he signed a non-contract at Woking, even though he was being paid and there was nothing untoward in that. It seems that the English FA are classing him as an amateur, and if they stick to that stance, that he will, we won't be able to do the deal, because he couldn't play for us as an amateur. He would have to sign as a professional contract. So we just have to wait and see. Hopefully we'll get a decision today, but it's not looking good on that. And we have a possibility of maybe getting a defender in trial next week, at the end of next week. And I've spoken to the chairman about that, and he fully understands the position that we're in, and we'll look at one option next week.
Yeah, tomorrow night is at the Johnstone Hall of Fame night. How much are you looking forward to going along to that?
I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good to see some faces that you've heard a lot about from fans from the club from years going back when they had pretty decent sides. So it'll be a good night. It's good to get everybody together. All the players will be there, and obviously past players and the chairman, past managers possibly. So it'll be a good night. Looking forward to it.
Just last question, away from St Johnstone, Qatar being awarded the World Cup, there's been a lot of debate about that. What's your view on it?
Well, my view's quite simple. I think it was amazing that they got the vote originally. I will think it's really difficult to move it to the winter. There was always going to be problems with heat and for supporters and that. And that's the politics of FIFA. I think sometimes it's not. They say it's for the best interests of football, but sometimes I think it's almost for self-interest. So I would imagine what they'll do is they'll move it to the winter, which I think will have a massive effect on the big leagues in Europe and around the world. And not only for that season, the planning will affect, maybe the season before and the season after. I think that it should be moved, to another country, and but I don't think that'll happen. I think they'll move it to the winter. But I found it strange that that they were awarded in the first place.